Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is I8skittles with another cast from the Last Player Standing tournament, put on by lastplayerstanding.com. I know it's a it's a real shocker, isn't it? But it is a open tournament. Open, well, I guess it says open, but it's for Diamond to Grandmaster. The title of it is the StarCraft 2 Open number 2. So we got some experienced professionals at putting on these tournaments here. And, you know, the games so far have been very interesting, and hopefully they'll continue on that way as we move along in this first day best of one series, so on and so on. Elimination, essentially. Just to weed out the weak players, and by weak I mean much better than I am or ever will be, but, you know. So, let's start off with the players. The map actually is GSL Zelnaga Fortress, which I'll go to around in a minute. But first off, we have Brian as the Terran spawning in the top position here. You notice there are only actually 3 bases, so I don't know what I'll call the Zerg's position, but I'll get to that when I get to that. And he's the teal Terran. Brian is it's just a great name just because, you know, if it's not his actual name, then it's gotta be very amusing. Just to the people that know him, it's like, oh, my name's Brian. Yeah, really, yeah. Anyways, to get back to the game, we are seeing, and in the bottom left position, we have Boom Prime, who is one of the Korean players from the clan Prime in this tournament. And he will be our light pink Zerg in this corner of the map. He appears to be going for a hatch first on 14 supply, actually, I believe that went down. Yeah, it makes sense. He appears to be saving it for a spawning pool rather than going extractor first. Yep, there it goes. And, you know, I'm not particularly experienced with this map. Let's go tour around a little bit, but it would appear with the amount of distance between his base and his opponent Brian's base that he should be alright and safe in taking that expansion. Very quickly anyway, no threat of early pressure. Not that there's no threat, could still be facing a bunker contain, but there hasn't been much as of yet. Nothing too specific. We're now seeing the Terran wall off the bottom of his ramp, actually, full wall off there, and pulling on the Overlook Command. There's a second barracks hidden over here. It's an interesting barracks spread, but apparently he chooses to do that. No gas yet, so I guess we'll be seeing heavy marine play at the beginning. That's about my only thing, unless he was going for a particularly fast expansion. Not saving out those minerals though, so I'm not sure. Our Zerg buddy is putting out 4 Zerglings now and a Queen, and this hatch is now popped. We'll see if he does a little drone transfer here. Seems to have a solid 16 drones. It's not a bad amount by any stretch of the imagination. Ryan is bringing out another barracks and another barracks, so we're going to be seeing a Mega Racks play. Well, at the moment, when I say Mega Racks, I mean at this point it's just 4 barracks, no gas. So there could really be nothing other than Marines, and a lot of them coming out. And it's difficult to tell if this will be scouted by our Zerg buddy, as he's got the bottom of the ramp walled off, which denies any sort of vision to in here. You'll have to sack an Overlord to get sight into here, and that, you know, at this point in the game, seldom will somebody choose to do that simply because Overlords cost minerals. Nobody really wants to get rid of one, although he seems to be sending one just by the edge right now. So difficult to say what his plans will be for this game. He's now dropping a spawning crawler, precautionary spawning crawler, just got those initial 6 Zerglings, and he's continuing to drone up. A little bit behind on the inject larvae, but not a big deal, because he couldn't actually support all those extra units right now anyway. Just does not have the mineral income. He's still on 1 geyser. Very little gas as of yet. It's hard to tell if those initial gas will be going towards... Oh, banelings. We have a baneling nest coming on through, which will be absolutely awful for our Terran. Oh! 5 SCVs, and so it's 15 Marines and 5 SCVs pushing on through. A very interesting combination. Brian has a huge supply lead over Baboon for some reason anyhow. This Zelnaga tower seems it's just interesting. He sees this coming now. It's not very far away, but he sees it coming, and the baneling nest finishes, and 5 banelings. If they are detonated properly, that will horribly destroy this. I would hesitate to say all in. It is definitely not quite an all in, but it's he is going to risk quite a lot on this play. These 3 spine crawlers, along with the banelings that have now morphed in, here come the banelings, and that detonation was awful. Oh, and that force is cleaned up very quickly. He lost a spine crawler and a few banelings, and that is about it. That's very quick cleanup by the Zerg player, but boom. He doesn't actually have any speed on these, just starting that metabolic boost now. And I'm interested to see where our Terran player will go from this. He still has not taken his gas, and he's still making nothing but Marines, which could be horribly just disastrous, given that all Bubba Boom really needs to say. I'm pronouncing it Bubba Boom. There isn't actually another A. I'm just saying it because the English language doesn't like 2 consonants. Like B's, anyhow. And really all he has to do is take his advantage. He knows he's in a little bit of a lead right now, and it looks like he's about to push out and take his 3rd. Yes, he is, right there. And really all he needs is banelings, and I'm not sure why he is sticking to all these Marines. Call down extra supply there and there. So his timings on the supply depot is a little off. It's possible he's not particularly used to using this build. It's something he's just trying out now. Going for an expansion, still just now taking both these gases. These SCVs didn't actually go in the gas. Sent them over a little too early, but not a big deal. Only one in this gas. He's not getting gas very quickly, to be sure. And a decent amount of Zerglings is getting pushed away now. Bunker coming through. He still has nothing but Marines, though. And that is worrisome because, I mean, Bubba Boom is making banelings. Nothing... Marines, I hear, are not altogether too friendly towards the baneling sort because, well, they go boom. And Marines don't like things that go boom. Tanks, banelings, doesn't matter what it is, they go boom. Not a fan. There's an Evo chamber coming around for our Zerg buddy here. There it is. Evolution chamber right in the back there. Hopefully looking for, I don't know, +1 attack, +1... Who knows? Or perhaps he just wants some spore crawlers. Although he must know from this point that just from those Marines coming through, the Terran player is not actually going for quick Banshee because, well, you can't do both. You can only have so many. Your minerals will have to be going somewhere. You can only have so many of them, and by that point, for those SCVs and those Marines, it's just he knows that the Terran can't have much else. Seeing the melee attacks level 1 come through, the expansion is finished and flying out, as well as a factory just about finished for Brian. Be interested to see if he goes for a swap with this. Yep, he's going for a swap with this tech lab. So we'll be seeing some tanks coming on through. I can't see of any other reason unless he was going for Infernal Pre-Igniter Hellions, which, as devastating as they are against Zerg, I can't imagine that he'd be going for them at this point. We are at the 10-minute point in the game, so it makes very little sense to be going for maybe he is. Okay. Don't listen to me, guys. I don't know what I'm talking about. 10 drones on the way for Bubba Boom. He knows he has the advantage right now, and he's going to press that. He's going to extend his economic lead, and he's just going to continue that way. He still has no lair tech. Still just sitting on Zerglings and Banelings as his tech. Nothing else. So those Infernal Pre-Igniter Hellions, they'll be good against the Zerglings, but I believe that he can just mass well enough. This will definitely counter the Banelings very well. Roach Warren coming on through as well as a lair, so, you know, getting that tech up as well as taking a macro hatch right here. And this is, that's... Boom Boom has a very interesting placement of his buildings. Macro hatch right at the entrance, I guess just to delay a push. A Roach Warren, a second Roach Warren. This makes very little sense to have 2 Roach Warrens. You can research Tunneling Claws while you research your speed upgrade, I guess? I don't understand exactly what he's doing here. I would be very surprised if this does not get cancelled. It was probably just a misclick, just a hit the wrong button situation. Very seldom happens at this level, but I'm very interested to see what happens with this particular double Roach Warren, which is something I've never even seen before. It doesn't make much sense. Infernal Pre-Igniter almost finished for these 3 Hellions, soon to be joined by a 4th Hellion. Getting a Starport coming on through, so get some medvacs on the field, just finished. Taking 1 gas on this expansion, only 1 for the time being. And building tech labs, building reactors, why not build some attachments. Getting some stim pack on the way. Some hard supply block to 70 right there, that's never a good thing, but both finished and... yeah. I'm really confused by this second Roach Warren. I don't really understand what he's playing for with having 2, but I guess he really wants to make roaches. And that clearly affects them in some way I'm not aware of. But Boom is a much better player than I am. We're seeing a little bit of Hellion action going on here. Didn't get very much economic damage, I don't believe. What is the units killed again? I absolutely forget what the shortcut for these things are. Oh, units killed. Control R. There we go. Workers killed. Boom. He only killed one drone out of that whole exchange. Whereas they killed about the same amount of units, but it's just not the same. Let's look at those. That units lost tab. The Terran is actually back there from that original push that failed. Mutalisks on route. Not really Mutalisks yet, but that's Spire, so we can assume Mutalisks. Ground Carapace, level 1. Baneling speed, Roach speed. 22 Banelings, 14 Zerglings. He's getting a fairly large army. Cloaked Banshees are going to be coming on route very soon here. I'm kind of wondering if these may be a little bit too late. We are at the 14-minute mark, and that is typically something that one rushes for. Simply because they're not good in large numbers, they are good in small numbers. And the massive Baneling Roach rolling in, and this will be GG. It just mopped up everything Brian had in half a second. And a whole bunch more Banelings are left over, ton of Roaches. He's going to lose his expansion, he's going to lose his army, and good game, well played. Excellent matters. We saw Brian originally open with a large SCV Marine push, didn't do the damage he needed to do with that, and the Zerg, realizing he had an advantage, just pushed it for what he could, until he had an army that was just overwhelming. We saw the difference in supply closer to the end, and it was just too much for our Terran player to handle. Well, this has been another exciting game, and I will be back to you with very many more soon. Hope you enjoyed these casts. Check out our channel, Gaming Canucks on YouTube, as well as the Last Player Standing website, where I host all sorts of fantastic tournaments, from what I understand. Alright, well, thank you for watching, and I will see you later.